Today, it's my pleasure to be speaking with Jack Weltha from Bloomington High School, who recently won the state wrestling title at 220 pounds in the Division 2A. He's a remarkable three-sport athlete, and I'm sure this conversation is gonna be sweet. But before we start things off, I'd like to ask that you guys give this video a share, a like, and consider supporting the show on patreon.com/Paul Garcia. All that said, Jack, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Hey, the honor is all mine. So you've won the IESA elementary school state title in 8th grade as well. How's it feel, though? How does this 2A state title compare to that?
It feels a lot better. I mean, obviously winning a state title is awesome, but, just doing it in high school, that's something you always dream of, too. Just my dad had won it twice, and I was just always wanted to win one and kind of be like him, so it was just a dream come true.
No, time out. Your dad won 2 state titles. Where's he from? When did this happen?
So I think it was in like the 1980s or something at Ames High. So 88 and 89, I think, is when he won it, and he won 2 of them, and then he also won a freestyle state title as well. So he was a 3-timer for that, or overall, and he wrestled JUCO, and he wrestled JUCO for 2 years and played football as well. He was a runner-up there and a national champ too. So,
my goodness,
yeah.
You said national champ in wrestling in JUCO.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man! Did he ever go D1 or consider it, or?
So yeah, he ended up wrestling at Iowa Central, but then he was gonna go to Iowa State for wrestling and football, but last call changed, and he ended up just playing football at Western Illinois. So. Wow,
man! I'm sure that's an interesting story. But hey, we're here to talk about you. But I do want to ask one more thing. It's like Iowa is a big wrestling state, the biggest wrestling state. I mean, Pennsylvania has some incredible high school wrestlers as well, but Iowa, I mean, the culture there is more wrestling-esque than perhaps any other state. How serious was your dad, and how serious have you guys been about the sport of wrestling? Because I know you're a great football family, but has wrestling been a big part of what you guys do?
Yes. I mean, I think it also translates a lot into football as well, just with just the fundamentals of just tackling and whatnot, and singles and doubles, obviously with wrestling, but we've always taken that very serious and whatnot, and I've considered, wrestling in college, but I just think that football is just going to be the right choice for me.
Right. So, okay, perfect segue into that. So, you're going to, is it Truman State?
Yes.
Okay, Truman State, they have a wrestling team, but are you just sticking to football right now, or what's the plan?
Yeah, actually, well, I think someone just said that they just dropped their wrestling program, is what I was told. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, bummer.
But that's what I was told, and I could be wrong, though. Yeah, I just going to stick with football, though. So.
Okay. Was that a tough decision, or was football the clear winner between the two sports for you?
It was clear, kind of up to this year, where I was like, man, this is gonna, this is my last ride at, wrestling, and I was really thinking, I was like, well, do I maybe want to give it a shot? But I think just if I knew I was gonna wrestle in college, I would have wrestled, a lot more freestyle Greco in the off season and put a lot more time and effort into it instead of football, and But yeah, I'm happy with my decision, though, with football, so I'm excited with that.
So why do you love football so much, would you say?
Honestly, I mean, my brother played football. My dad obviously played football, and it's just kind of running the family, and I don't know, I just have fell in love with it. It's a fun sport for me, so. And
you said that wrestling, it helps with football. Can you elaborate on that anymore? Like, how does great wrestling skill or technique translate into football, or is it a mindset thing, or what do you think?
I think a lot of it also, I would say it has to do with both, as in the meaning of mindset. It's mentally very tough, and I mean, lots of wrestlers and people say that, if you went through a wrestling season or anything like that, you can achieve anything, and I really stand by those words, and I agree, because it is a tough sport, mentally and physically. But physically, I think it also has to do with your singles and doubles and stuff like that, and just like as a linebacker tackling,
and wrapping up hard,
wrapping
collapsing their legs, whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah, so that also has to translate and whatnot into football from wrestling.
So how long has this goal of being a state champion in high school been a goal of yours?
It's really always been a goal. Like I said, I've always my brother wrestled as well, and it was just it's always just been a goal. I mean, like I said, my dad always won a state title. I was jealous in high school because he'd won one. I'm like, well, I want to win one too.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to do that, and was glad I was able to achieve that goal.
So this year, I mean, it's not a one-person deal. When you win a state title in the sport of wrestling, it's a lot of people are involved. Who do you think, who are the top few people that have had the biggest impact and have helped you achieve this long-held goal of being a state champ?
So we actually had a college wrestler come in. His name's Connor Rogers, and he helped me tremendously. I mean, on so many different levels. I mean, from techniques to the smallest things, and just really, truly helped me, become a much, much better wrestler. I mean, from last year to this year, you could tell the changes and whatnot, and I was able to see it as well, which was super nice, obviously. And but I also want to thank, my coach, Mark Gardner. I mean, he's been there for 30 years, and I don't know, he's just motivated me. I mean, he just knows me better than anybody else, and he's the best coach I've ever had. And he motivates me in so many different ways and whatnot. And another one's Savion. He's
Haywood, right?
Yeah, Savion Haywood. He was a state champ as well, I think in 2017 or 2018, and or maybe it's 2016. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I don't know, he motivates me. His energy, it's electrifying. I don't know.
Is he the guy that picked you up after?
Yeah.
How much does he weigh? That was incredible.
145 pounds, maybe 145, 150. He's a strong guy, that's for sure.
That is wild.
Yeah, and but also thinking another coach, Coach Bird. I mean, he's always been helping me through the ups and the downs of everything, and I thank them all and my teammates and everything from always pushing me to be the best. So,
when's the last time you've wrestled your dad? Assuming he's close to your weight.
God, it's been a while. I think it might have been 8th grade year. He might have came in, maybe freshman year, but yeah, in his prime, he's got me for sure. I think I might have him now, but I'm not sure. He's a big guy.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember the last time I ever wrestled my dad, I hip tossed him one time in 8th grade. It's like fresh after puberty,
Yeah.
And he got some newfound strength. And after that, we never wrestled again.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken your dad down or anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Wow.
he's a big guy. He's a big guy. So I've not successfully taken him down.
So you didn't qualify just by yourself here this year at the tournament. You qualified with Carson Nishida at 125 pounds, who got 5th place. Jacob Barger at 145 pounds. Anthony Curry, 195 pounds, 5th place. I mean, first of all, Curry, he's close to your weight, 195 pounds. Did you guys roll around in the room a lot?
All the time. We've rolled around since 7th grade. So we've been practice partners for a long time. And it's always been nice because he's been a bit smaller, so he's been quicker. So he's always pushed me in that way. With the other coach I mentioned, Connor Rogers, he's around my weight, so I get different looks from both guys. So it's really nice.
What's your training regimen like? A lot of people are going to wonder that because, I mean, you have great success in football and in wrestling. I mean, state champ in wrestling, and I assume you're probably at least going to do relatively well in track this year.
Yeah,
and I'll see you there pretty soon. I'm going to go do a little piece at the Bloomington High School track here in a couple days. But what do your training regimens, do they change from sport to sport, or are you just hitting the gym in the exact same way all throughout the year?
Yeah, it changes. I would say wrestling season was really tough to get into the gym just because of our schedule and whatnot, and having 3 to 5 practice, and when you're done, you're dead. Like it's really tough. I have lifting at school. I have that, and I usually lift for about an hour in there and whatnot. Try to lift somewhat hard, not too hard, just because I know practice. I mean, they're tough, and I don't want to kill myself in the weight room. But I would say for football, I'm still lifting pretty hard. I don't know exactly. I would say between 4 and 5 days. Wrestling, it's still 3 to 4 days, I'd say. I'll usually lift sometimes if I can get back early on Saturdays from like meets and whatnot, tournaments.
Man.
Why? I don't know. I mean, it's just.
Do you like lifting?
I really enjoy it. I mean, it's like my therapy. I mean, I can get out and just lift and not have to worry about anything. It's always been nice. I can just put some headphones on, turn on music, and just go and hit whatever in that day that I'm going to be hitting. It's just super relaxing though for me. So that's why I've always enjoyed it and whatnot.
That's awesome. And you hear that all the time, like bodybuilding and even athletics a lot, that it's like therapy, you know?
Yeah.
It's how you get your frustrations out. It's how you become sane again.
Yeah.
You know, what does your average day look like? How invested are you in school, you know? Do you always work out? What's an average day for you?
So right now, let's just say, an average day, I get up 7:30, 7:45, go to school. I have school till about 2:15 or till 2:15. And then I have track practice till about 4-ish, depending on the day, 4:30. And then from there, I'll go home for about 30 minutes, try and get a quick bite to eat, and then head off to the gym for 2.5 hours till about 7.
It's a long time.
Yeah, and then come home, shower, eat, and then go to bed. So then just do it all over again.
Man.
So, yeah, about six, if not sometimes 7 days a week, so...
Wow. What do you do in your free time when you have it?
Really, yeah, I mean, it's, just really hang out with friends. I mean, nothing crazy.
You play video games? You have to play video games.
No, I'm not a big video gamer.
Nice, man.
No, yeah. I mean,
that's why you're having the success you're having.
Yeah,
everyone else is playing whatever they play.
Yeah, I during COVID, I guess I played Cold War for like a few days, few weeks, but I mean, just right now, especially with everything back to normal, I just lift and do everything else. So,
okay.
I mean,
now you really don't play video games, right?
No, I really don't.
Someone's gonna call you out if you're lying.
No, I really don't. So,
right on, dude.
Yeah.
Anything else you do in your free time? Is it just study, workout?
Yeah, trying to keep my grades up and whatnot, and just studying a little bit, not a ton. I mean, with classes right now, senior year, it's not too bad. So, just a little bit of studying. I got a quiz tonight, by the way. But other than that, no. I mean, studying, school, working out, and sports and whatnot. That's really it every day. So,
what are your interests, though? Even though you may not do too much of anything, like as far as hobbies in your free time, what interest do you have? What do you like to learn about or like to talk about, think about, that's not football, not wrestling, not track?
Outside of all that, I mean, honestly, I'll go four-wheeling. I used to own one. I just sold mine. But we'll do that, go hunting and whatnot, just go in the outdoors and whatnot, and just hang out and go swimming. So
outdoorsy
really...
guy, huh?
Yeah. So
right on. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who's been a role model for you?
Probably my dad. Honestly, my brother and my dad has really, really been the big one. I'd probably say more my dad, just because I know he's done some really remarkable things, and I've always just looked up to him.
Do you have any like celebrity role models or professional athletes you look up to, or?
That I do look up to.
They don't have to be athletes. They can be, just people.
There's a guy named Reuben Foster. He's an Alabama football player that I've always really looked up as to at least for sports and whatnot, and always try to look up to him and try and be like him. He's a football player at Alabama. He's a linebacker, and he played in the NFL. I'm not sure if he's still there right now, but he's always been a guy I've always looked up to.
And why is that? Is it his mindset, or is it?
Yeah, mindset. I mean, he's just a freak of nature. I mean, he truly is, and just the way he plays the linebacker position is just unheard of, and he's just such a great linebacker, and that's really all I've always looked up to as.
So I want to talk about your mindset in wrestling and football. What's going through your head? What are you telling yourself? How do you prepare yourself mentally for a hard wrestling match?
Honestly, relaxed. I'll listen to music and whatnot before, but just knowing it's going to be a 6-minute fight and whatnot, and I go in super relaxed, because if I hype myself up or something, I mean, you're using energy right then and there, and instead of using it there, trying to hype yourself up, you want to use it on the match, or on the mat, and just staying super, super relaxed, though. That's my key, so.
And how do you do that? How do you combat the nerves? Because surely you have some nervousness that starts to bubble up, right?
Yeah, no, I do, but I mean, I feel like I've had enough matches to where you kind of figure out how are you going to wrestle good and how you're not going to wrestle so good, and looking and learning from those ones that you haven't, just because of you're psyching yourself out too much, or you're just not wrestling to your full potential, and just relaxing is my best philosophy and whatnot.
Are you laughing beforehand, or are you thinking about the match? You're just doing your best, and you don't even know what you're thinking. You're just walking around and staying loose, or
yeah, I mean, kind of pacing back and forth and whatnot. I don't really like to talk to anybody. I'll just kind of think about the match a little bit, not too much though. But yeah, just really. Yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing really crazy. Just seriously, just trying to stay as relaxed as possible, and just trying to stay in my own world though at the same time too, without everybody else trying to talk to me and whatnot. So
I see. Has it always been like that for you? Have you always tried to be relaxed, or were you at one time a psyched up maniac?
Yeah, psyched up maniac psyched up maniac at times. But yeah, no, my freshman and sophomore year, I was that, and tried to like get going and whatnot as time and whatnot, I've obviously evolved and whatnot. I've really started to learn. This year was a big year for me, as in a meaning of really finding that and just relaxing and whatnot. So,
did you say you put on headphones before your matches?
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
Oh man, rap. Usually just really rap and whatnot.
Who's favorite artist, favorite song? I read some, you said Enter Sandman was your favorite song.
Well, okay, I had to put that because they said all the other songs weren't clean enough.
They gave, like you said some other things. They're like, that's not.
They're like, sir, they're like, Jack, it's just not gonna work. I'm like, all right, guys. So I was like, all right. So I was like, Enter Sandman. I guess you can't go wrong with that, which isn't a bad song either. But oh man, artists and whatnot. I'd probably say Drake. Honestly. Drake's, yeah.
What song by Drake? You can say whatever you want here, by the way.
Oh, man.
Your parents might watch. If it's got some bad words, whatever. It's up to you.
Or actually, there's another artist. I know I'll probably get some hate for this. Some laughter. He's called Waka Flocka.
Yeah, the way you say it slow, like I don't know who that is.
Waka Flocka playing. That one's a good one. Probably some like Grove Street Party or something like that. That one gets me going. But yeah, some Future too, a little bit of everything. So
there we go. So not hard rock at all or anything. It's not.
No. I mean, and it depends on the day, I guess too. I mean, maybe I am, but odds are it's gonna be rap though. So
got it. And what's your mindset then for football games? You going out? It's not relaxed, is it? You can't be too relaxed.
No. Because then if you're relaxed, you're flat. It's crazy though for wrestling and football. I mean, you still want to stay hyped, but at the same time, you don't want to use too much energy. As just the way it works for me. Yeah, I mean, I still want to stay hyped and whatnot going into it. I mean, you're going to war, obviously, like for football and whatnot, right. And the philosophy I have and whatnot, and just basically still staying hyped, but not too, if that makes sense. Not hyped, but not like too hyped to the point where you're like using too much energy trying to be like, oh, let's go and whatnot. So.
Right, you're trying to stay alert and ready and high energy, but you don't want to have like an adrenaline rush and adrenaline dump.
Yes.
Okay.
Just stay consistent and whatnot. So.
It's interesting. You said it's like you're going to war in football, and that is the case. Wrestling, it's not like you're going to war.
Yeah.
It's like a chess match largely, but football, it's a lot like, a team of gladiators going against the other team of gladiators. So talk about, how do you look at that? What responsibilities do you have when you step onto the football field, and how does it feel?
I mean, I just try to keep it as simple as possible. I've got my responsibilities, and everybody else does. It's an 11-man team, and if you try to do too much, I mean, then if you're not doing your responsibility, then something else will happen that shouldn't. But I mean, like I said, if you could just stick to assignment football, you'll be a lot more successful there.
Now, talking about your state finals match, your state finals experience, really, it's actually pretty remarkable because it's extremely rare in the sport of wrestling, especially in the state of Illinois, for someone to place lower at the sectional tournament than they do at the state tournament, because there's a quarter of the amount of people going into a sectionals than there are going into the state tournament. And by that, I mean, the sectionals are, there are 4 different sectionals in 2A or something like that. And then the top 4 of each one of those goes into the 16-man bracket at the state tournament. It's very rare to place second at sectionals and win the whole darn state tournament. So what changed? What was your sectionals experience like? And how did that change going into the state tournament?
So I'll just run you through the match. So I lost 8-5.
This sectionals finals?
Sectional, yes.
Okay.
So the sectional final, I lost 8-5, and it was 6-5, which I'd lost them previously before, earlier in the year, and it was 6-5 at the time, and I tried to do some funky move trying to get back points, and ended up losing 8-5. I would just say that after that match, I just knew I was like, man, this kid's beatable. Like everybody's beatable. I'm beatable. I clearly because I've lost 3 times and whatnot. But I just knew like this kid's beatable. His gas tank wasn't the best. When it came to the second and third, late second, third period. And I was like, that's where it's got to go. And as you saw in the state finals, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
I have.
Yeah. So I was down 3-0 and first period. And he was always beat me with the first period because I think it was 6-0. I think the first period, at least I think for both matches. And it was always the first period that was killing me. I was giving too many points away and not being able to.
So first of all, was this the same kid that in the sectionals finals that you were facing in the state finals?
Yeah. So I'd lost him twice. And
in the same season?
Yes, lost him twice. And then in the state finals, obviously, beat him there. But I think the reason I would say the reasons why I was able to beat him, though, too, was because obviously with shots and whatnot. But I was, like I said, we were talking earlier about staying relaxed. I was so relaxed and focused in that match where it was like just turning off your brain and whatnot and just wrestling. And I knew that was going to be my last match. I just wanted to go and give everything I had on that one. And, I knew I needed shots. I'd taken him down 5 times in that match. And he hadn't been taken down all year long. So
in the state finals match alone, you took him down 5 times.
I think 2 or 3 of them didn't count, or 5 or 6. 2 or 3 of them didn't count because they were out of bounds. Mm-hmm. He hadn't been taken down all year long. And I think it was from last year. I think he was 65 and 0, 63 and 0.
Sheesh.
So, yeah, he
returning
was really
champ.
Good. Yeah,
I didn't actually realize that. I feel like a fool for not knowing that.
I don't think he wrestled last season because he might have broke his leg. I could have been wrong, or something like, it might have been sophomore year. But I knew he placed 5th sophomore year. Like I said, I knew he was because he's going to college for wrestling. He's going to McKendree. So, but yeah, I knew he was a great wrestler, and I just knew I had to take it up a notch and whatnot just to be able to compete and win that match.
So tell me real quick, because you said he had a 6-point lead at one point. Walk me, if I understood that.
That was the sectional match. So the state finals match was 3-0 and after the first period. Then after, I would say, or halfway through the second, or what was this? I got an escape, I want to say, if it was the second or third period. And then I took him down. I knew by the third period it was 3-3 because then we went to sudden victory. And then then I ended up winning in overtime with, I think, 7 seconds left. So
dang, that is crazy. And I want to pull up a video here in just a second, but I want to ask you, like, in those final seconds, in the takedown, or in the beginning of the overtime period, what was running through your head? What were your coaches saying? Just tell me about what that was like.
I was exhausted. I'm not going to lie. I was dying. Late third period, I was like, oh, man, I need to take a shot. And I kept taking shots, but I just wasn't successful on the takedowns. And I was like, I do not want to go into overtime, but clearly we did. And I just knew I had to just keep taking shots and whatnot just because my sophomore year, I lost to a kid in the quarterfinals that just kept taking shots. And, you learn from that and realize that, he kept taking shots and eventually ended up taking me down. I was wrestling defensive, and that's just kind of stuck with me, just taking more shots. And luckily I was successful in the overtime match to take him down and win.
All right, let's see something here. I'm going to try to play this video, see if I can get the sound. Right there. Okay. Oh, this is actually, I better give credit. This is from Herald and Review. Thanks, guys, for letting me use this. Okay, so this is I think this is the overtime period right here. And we can't hear any sound, but people watching can. Okay, so go ahead, give me some
times. Yeah, so this was OT.
There's that good shot. Nice shot for being in overtime. 220. You were in shape. Nothing doing though.
Yeah, we ended up going out of bounds right there. Just shot him out of bounds right there for a stall call.
Their coaches are trying to pump him back up. They can tell he's losing steam. This guy looks tired. Yeah, not that you don't look tired, but he looks a little more tired. Standing straight up.
Yeah.
Big signs. You're keeping position. Nice hips. Okay, you talk.
So
what's going on?
Is this OT?
Oh,
yeah, it is.
Yes,
okay,
it
so
is.
right here, this will be the shot. We come up here.
Got a good whizzer seatbelt.
Yeah, from here, I don't even know. I was just trying to do something, and then from here, I just saw the ankle was just so close, and I was like, I just dropped down. Yeah.
Look at you there, what's his name? Savion?
Yeah, Savion.
Woo! Check this out. It ain't done. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, what's going through your head here?
I was just shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, I won. Like, just, yeah, I just shocked.
Have you watched that video yet?
Oh, I've watched that so many times. Like 30 times.
Man.
Never gets old, yeah.
No, you know what? That'll never get old for the rest of your life, actually.
It's just crazy looking back because it's like, wow, it was something I did. It was just.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Crazy. So.
Wow,
but,
man.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations
thank
on
you
that.
very much, yeah.
That is so awesome. I mean, I love good state finals matches, and boy, that was electrifying. That was, I mean, watching it, I knew the outcome of it, and it was still, anxiety inducing. Were your parents? Do you have a mom that screams like crazy or anything?
Oh, she's crazy. I don't know if in the video, they're in the top left. They had a booth, and they just were going crazy. I mean, just she's screaming and whatnot. She's always been a screamer and whatnot, but yeah. Yeah, she was going crazy though. So
what'd you guys do afterwards?
We actually got Portillo's. We whole team went and got Portillo's, and I got a cake shake. Those are amazing. But
a cake shake, you deserve it, man. You earned it.
Yeah. It was went to Portillo's and just kind of chilled out and just enjoyed the bus ride home and hung out with my teammates and just talked and whatnot. So.
Now, being the athlete of the caliber that you are, do you have a special diet? Do you watch your diet, or is it, a high school kid, you pretty much eat whatever?
So, it used to be really just eat whatever, but I've been trying to change it to the point where now I'm just really eating a lot cleaner foods, and whatnot, but usually I try to usually have eggs in the morning. Eggs are usually bagel, which bagels aren't the best, but, and then for lunch I'll usually have rice or chicken, and then for dinner as well, rice and chicken, if not rice and beef, and mixing it up a little bit there with a smoothie and whatnot, a healthy smoothie.
What goes in the smoothie?
So there's a cup and a half of oats with milk, and then a half scoop of protein powder, which is like a huge one. They call it the shovel. It's like 1,200 calories. So
Jeez.
I'll have half of that, so it'll be 600. And then I'll put more milk, and then blend that up, and then put a cup of fruits, and then more milk, and then blend it up. So,
what are your max lifts right now? Tell me your numbers.
Max. So
you're college has already picked you, so don't worry, you won't lose a partial scholarship.
Thank goodness. Yeah, no, I haven't maxed in 2 years. I think my max was 440 at the time, about a year and a half ago.
Wait, 440 what?
For squat.
Jeez.
So yeah, and then I haven't maxed since. It's been a long time. My front squat max, I've been really focusing a lot more on my front squats, just because Truman's just more of a front squat. They're like, yeah, we don't really do squat anymore, so it's usually just front squat. So I was like, all right. So
does that hit a different body part or a specific leg component better, or?
So it's more like a quad. It focuses more on your quads and whatnot. And it's also, they said it's good just because it activates more of your core muscles and whatnot, and it's a lot safer too. So instead of having so much weight on your back and whatnot on your spine, I guess I don't really know exactly how because.
Well, it makes sense what you're saying, but so 440 squat.
440 squat. Front squat, I was able to do 340 for 5 on my 5th or 6th set. It was supposed to be it was a progressive build. I was supposed to do 2 of them, and instead I was able to do 5. What else? Bench, I don't know. I mean, bench was probably around 300. I was actually just did 110 dumbbells. 3x5 yesterday for chest, for dumbbell bench.
You beast.
Thank you. So just been working up on that and whatnot, trying to just basically do that and whatnot. And I just haven't really been doing a lot of bench just because my shoulders haven't been the best. So I know a lot of dumbbell bench is a lot better, but just trying to still gain muscle mass, but not trying to kill my shoulders at the same time too. So.
Of course. What about deadlift?
Deadlift, I don't deadlift. Last time I deadlifted, it was trap bar deadlift. It was 515, and I'd only done about 2 weeks of deadlift at the time. And then they were like, we're gonna max just because I got late into this program. And they're like, well, we're maxing. So I was like, all right, might as well. So at the time, with about 2 weeks of doing it, I was at 515.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, so 515 for that. Power cleans about 280, 285. I haven't one rep. Like I said, I haven't one rep. The last time I one rep maxed, I ended up hurting my wrist really, really bad. It was like as I went to catch it, it was a loud pop. Junior year, and hasn't really fully recovered, I don't think. But I use these wrist wraps that help. So, but yeah, that's kind of my maxes and whatnot, though.
You ever go hard on pull-ups or anything? Pull-ups are a true test of strength.
Yeah,
like
they
strength
are.
to weight ratio.
They are. I don't. Oh man, I've probably around 10. I think is my best. I haven't really.
That's solid though.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Because we used to do a decent amount in wrestling, but yeah, it's been a while. It feels like since then, but yeah, I think around 10 is probably my best. So
right on, impressive numbers there. Before we wrap things up, man, do you have a major picked out for college? Not, it's probably going to change, but just curious.
You said what? Do I have a major?
A major picked out for college, like business or psychology?
Not really. I think business might be the way. I'm not exactly sure. I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere on the business route, though. So
right on. Cool. So, well, hey, man, before we wrap this whole thing up, I appreciate your time very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say before we go ahead and stop recording?
No, nothing else. No. So thank you so much for having me, though.
Hey, the pleasure is all mine, and that is Jack Weltha. Man, again, appreciate your time. Bright future ahead of you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. That's a wrap.